mocks me all the time. When I laugh, she laughs. When I point my finger at her, she points her finger at me. And when I stick my tongue out at her, she sticks her tongue out at me.
I'll have to write a book someday about Alice. Alice in the Wasteland. Child of the pure unclouded brow and dreaming eyes of wonder. Or Alice through the vault door. And here you are in your little stiff skirt. Someday you'll be old enough for your vault suit. When you are old enough to leave the vault, there will be enough to wonder about.
No, it doesn't.
From, and where are you going? Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers.
Well, I only wanted to see what outside the vault was like. Perhaps I've lost my way. There were these raiders.
Oh, I don't know what you mean by your way. All the ways about here belong to me. Now curtsy while you're thinking what to say. It saves time.
Well, I'll try it when I go home. The next time I'm a little late for dinner.
Oh, it's time for you to answer now. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak, and always say, Your Majesty. I suppose you don't want to lose your name?
Oh, no indeed. Call me Miss, as the Mr. Handys do.
Well, if he called you miss and didn't say anything more, of course you'd miss your lessons. I dare say you can't even read this book.
Well, it's all in some language I don't know. Why, it's a looking glass book, of course, and if I hold it up to glass, the words will all go the right way again. Jabberwocky. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gear and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Wow, it seems very pretty, but it's rather hard to understand. Somehow it seems to fill my head with ideas, only I don't know exactly what they are. Mome raths? Though of course I should like to be queen best.
That's easily managed. When you get to the A square, you'll be a queen. It's a huge game of chess that's being played all over the world.
Well, I'm searching for a group of raiders.
I know.
Well,
I shall give you your direction. Have another psychotad?
oh, no thank you. One is quite enough.
Quenched thirst, I hope. At the end of 3 yards, I shall repeat them, for fear of your forgetting them. At the end of 4, I shall say goodbye, and at the end of 5, I shall go. That square belongs to Mr. Bottle, and that square to the Griffin and Mock Turtle, and that square to the Queen of Hearts. But you make no remark.
I didn't know I had to make one just then.
You should have said. That's extremely kind of you to tell me all this. However, I'll suppose it's said. 4, goodbye. 5.
Oh,
Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she be savage if I've kept her waiting?
oh, I've never seen a rabbit dressed so. If you please, sir.
Oh!
Bread and butter, bread and butter.
Am I addressing the White Queen?
Well, yes, if you call that addressing. It isn't my notion of the thing at all.
Well, if your majesty will only tell me the right way to begin, I'll do it as well as I can.
But I don't want it done at all. I've been addressing myself for the last 2 hours.
I don't understand you. It's all dreadfully confusing.
Oh, that's the effect of living backwards. It always makes one a little giddy at first.
Living backwards? I've never heard of such a thing.
But there's one great advantage in it, that one's memory works both ways.
Well, I'm sure mine only works one way. I can't remember things before they happen.
It's a poor sort of memory that only works backwards.
Well, what sort of things do you remember best?
Oh, things that happened the week after next. For instance now, there's the king's messenger, she's in prison being punished, and the trial doesn't even begin till next Wednesday, and of course the crime comes been better still. Better and better and better.
There's a mistake somewhere.
Oh, my finger's bleeding. Oh.
What's the matter? Have you pricked yourself?
I haven't pricked myself yet, but I soon shall. Oh.
When do you expect to do it?
When I take a psycho again. Oh.
Well, take care.
Achoo. That accounts for the bleeding. You see, now you understand the way things happen here.
But why don't you scream now?
Why, I've had all the screaming already. What would be the good of having it all over again? Oh, it's time to run if you want to stay in the same place. Come on.
No, not so fast. I'm getting dizzy.
Faster!
Where am I? Oh dear. I've always been able to reach the doorknobs before. What a curious feeling.
Whoa!
Oh, Mr. Rabbit. Please help me out. I want to go home.
Oh, the Duchess! Oh, my fur and whiskers! She'll get me executed, as sure are ferrets!
I'm...
Oh, my ears and whiskers! How late it's getting! Whoop!
Oh! He just vanished.
Well, don't stand chattering to yourself like that, but tell me your name and your business.
Well, my name is Alice, but...
Oh, it's a stupid name enough. What does it mean?
Must a name mean something?
Of course it must. My name means the shape I am, and a good, handsome shape it is, too. With a name like yours, you might be any shape almost.
Well, you're Mr. Bottle, just like...
What? You never said a word about it. Now, if you'd asked my advice, I'd have said leave off at 17, but then you can keep going.
I never ask advice about growing.
Too proud?
Well, I don't know what you mean by proud.
When I use a word, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less.
The question is whether you can make words mean different things.
The question is, which is to be master, that's all. Impenetrability, that's what I say.
Would you tell me, please, what that means?
I meant by impenetrability that we've had enough of that subject, and it would be just as well if you'd mention that you mean what you mean to do next, as I suppose you don't mean to stop here all the rest of your life. In the middle, mouth under. It's always the same. Now, if you had the two eyes on the same side of the nose, for instance, or the mouth at the top, that would be some help.
It wouldn't look nice.
Oh, wait till you've tried. Goodbye.
Oh. Well, I forgot to ask him how to find the raiders. Oh. These doors. Drink me. That isn't marked poison. This is good. Tastes like cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and hot buttered toast all together. A little too much pepper. Oh. Am I in a lake? Am I in a river? Help! Help! Oh. I'm drowning in my tears.
Yeah. Drop your tears into the sea with his.
He sobs as if he had a bone in his throat. He sighs as if his heart would break. What is his sorrow?
Oh, Griffin, it's terrible. It's all his fancy, that Mock Turtle hasn't got no sorrow. This here young lady, she wants for to know your history, she do. Oh, well, I'll tell it to her. Sit down, both of you, and don't speak a word until I've finished.
Well, but I don't see how you can ever finish if you don't begin. Okay.
Once, I was a real fisherman, not a ghoul. When we were little, we went to school at sea. The master was an old captain. We used to call him Tortoise.
But why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
Well, we called him Tortoise because he taught us. Really, you are very dull.
Oh.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, old fellow. Don't be all day about it.
Yes, we went to school at sea, though you mayn't believe it.
I never said I didn't.
You did.
Hold your tongue.
Okay.
We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day.
I've been to a day school too. You needn't be so proud as all that.
With extras.
Yes, we learned French and music.
And washing?
Well, certainly not.
Then yours wasn't really a day school. Now at ours, we had at the end of the bill French, music, and washing. Extra.
Well, you couldn't have wanted it much, living at sea.
Well, I couldn't afford to learn it. I only took the regular course.
What was that?
Well, reeling and writhing, of course, to begin with, and then there were the different branches of arithmetic. Ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
Well, I've never heard of uglification. What is it?
Never heard of uglifying? You know what a beautify is, I suppose.
Oh, yes, it means to make anything prettier.
Well then, if you don't know what to uglify is, you are a simpleton.
Oh. Well, what else had you to learn?
Well, there was mystery. Mystery, ancient and modern, with seography, then drawing. Ooh, the drawing master was an old conger eel. He used to come out once a week. What he taught us was drawing, stretching, and faint.
What was that like?
We have a blue screen.
Yes.
They can't hear me. Would you like me to go to standby, or would someone like to do her lines?
Just go to
Stand by.
Hold on. How far is it? Just see how go to a commercial. See how far she can get. How fast she can get back.
Blue screens.
Okay, we went to commercial. We are all good. I'll run some vault tech until we have confirmation people are coming back, and we decide if we're loading back in here or what.
Right.
I think it's just Scald.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Skull had a blue screen, so. Now it's just getting good too.
Brown, we can determine where we're going to start off from.
Gamer, what was the last thing you said?
What else had you to learn? And then she did the fainting and coils. I was about to interrupt her. So she could start with well, there was mystery at top of 33 again. Or I could do what else had you to learn, and then that could cue her.
Yeah, just go from your what else had you to learn, and then
Okay.
she could go from her.
Okay.
Everybody's doing great.
Yeah.
Seriously, awesome.
It's only Todd that's letting us down.
You know,
You know, of course, it only
Effing
happens.
Todd Howard.
Shit.
It's
just not a patron of the arts like he used to be.
Yeah. So we're gonna go back at page 33 and Gamer's gonna give you the what else had you to learn, and your line, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Whenever you.
I will count you guys in just a minute. I started one last commercial, but I can fade out partway through. It's got a minute left.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to fade out and then just count us in.
We can hear you giggle from time to time, J-Star.
Okay. I was told that it was okay if I did. A little bit of that live audience thing. Okay. Well, guys, we are going to go back to live in just a second, counting you guys in at 5, 4, 3...
What else had you to learn?
Well, there was mystery. Mystery, ancient and modern, with geography, then drawing. Oh, the drawing master was an old congerer that would come once a week. What he taught us was drawing, stretching, and fainting in coils.
What was that like?
Well, I can't show it to you myself. I'm too stiff. Oh. And Griffin never learned it.
Hadn't time. I went to the classical master. Though he was an old crab, he was.
I never went to him. He taught laughing and grief, they used to say.
So he did.
And how many hours a day did you do lessons?
Well, let's see, 10 hours the first day, 9 the next, and so on.
What a curious plan.
That's the reason they're called lessons. Because they lesson from day to day.
Oh, well, then the 11th day must have been a holiday.
Well, of course it was.
Well, and how did you manage the 12th?
That's enough about lessons.
Oh, well, thank you. It's very interesting and all. I really am on a journey now. I'm searching for some raiders who...
Oh, of course. Why, if a fish came to me and told me he was going on a journey, I should say with what purpose?
Don't you mean purpose?
I meant what I said.
Oh.
Would you like Turtle to sing you a song?
Oh, a song, please, if Turtle would be so kind.
No. Accounting for taste. Sing her Turtle Soup, will you, old fellow?
Oh, Jack!
Oh. They won't let her stay in our square. We best run, the queen is coming!
The White Queen is coming this way.
No room.
Well, there's plenty of room. Well, I don't know who you are. Are you raiders?
I'm the March Hare, and this is the Rat Hatter, and this is the Dormouse. Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any. This is a Camden. Chip.
Well, it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
Well, it wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
Well, I didn't know this was your chem den. It's laid for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why's a raven like a writing desk?
Come, we shall have some fun now. I'm glad you've begun asking riddles. I believe I can guess that.
So, you mean that you think that you can find out the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
Well, I do. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
That's not the same thing a bit. Why, you might as well just say, I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see.
You might as just say that I like what I get. Is that the same thing as saying I get what I like?
You might as well just say that I breathe when I sleep. It's the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
It's the same thing with you, Dormouse, you dumb Jersey bastard. Which day of the month is it?
The 4th?
2 days wrong. I told you Calmex wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best callbacks.
Yes, but some pepper crumbs must have got in as well. You shouldn't have put it in with the cutting. No.
It was the best Calmex, and you know it.
Dormouse is asleep again.
Of course, just what I was gonna remark myself.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give it up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
No, I think you might do something better with the time than wasting it asking riddles that have no answers.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. I dare say you never even spoke to time.
Perhaps not, but I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
Ah, that accounts for it. He won't stand for beating. Now, if you only keep on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you liked with the clock. For instance, suppose it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just time to begin lessons. You'd only have to whisper a hint to time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner.
I only wish it was.
Well, that would be grand, certainly, but then I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know?
Well, not at first, perhaps, but you could keep it 1:30 as long as you liked. But shoot!
Well, is that the way you manage?
Not I. We quarreled last March, just before he went mad, you know. It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. You know the song, perhaps.
I've heard something like it.
Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle.
Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse when the Queen bawled out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!"
How dreadfully savage.
And ever since that, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 9:47 now.
Is that the reason so many chem paraphernalia are put out here?
Yes, that's it. It's always Kim time, and we've no time to waste when things wash between whiles.
Well, then you keep moving round, I suppose.
Exactly so, as things get used up.
But when you come to the beginning again...
Suppose we change the subject. I vote this young lady tells us a story.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the Dormouse shall. Wake up, Dormouse!
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
Tell us a story.
Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep again before it's done.
All right. Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, and their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
What did they live on?
They lived on Day Tripper.
Well, they couldn't have done that, you know. They'd have been ill.
And so they were. Very ill.
But why did they live at the bottom of a well?
Take some more comics.
Well, I've had nothing yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Who's making personal remarks now?
Very well. Okay. Why did they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a Day Tripper well.
Well, there's no such thing.
If you can't be civil, you'd better finish the story for yourself.
No, please go on. I won't interrupt you again. I dare say there may be one.
One indeed! And so these three little sisters, they were learning to draw, you know.
And what did they draw?
Day Tripper!
I want a clean cup. Let's all move one place on. Oh.
Ew, I'm worse off than I was before. Where did they draw the Day Tripper from?
You can draw water out of a water well, so I should think that you could draw Day Tripper out of a Day Tripper well. Stupid?
No. But they were in the well.
Of course they were. Well in. They were learning to draw, and they drew all manner of things. Everything that begins with an M.
Why with an M?
Why not? Wake up!
That begins with an M, such as mousetraps, and the moon, and memory, and muchness. You know how they say things are much of a muchness? Did you ever see such a thing as a drawing of a muchness?
Did you?
Oh, really? Now you ask me? I don't think...
Then you shouldn't talk.
No!
You are very rude. This is the stupidest party I was ever at in all my life.
No room!
Oh,
For the Duchess! For the Duchess! An invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
oh, thank you.
No room!
Vanishes. See.
Good day. Hello.
Oh, hi.
An invitation from the Queen for the Duchess to play croquet.
Who is the Duchess? Is she a raider? I'll knock on the door.
There's no sort of use in knocking. For two reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, because they're making such a noise inside Cunningham's, no one could possibly hear you.
Well, please then, how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking if we had the door between us. For instance, if you were inside, you might knock, and I could let you out, you know.
But how am I to get in?
I shall sit here till tomorrow.
We have to finish this batch or the Queen will have our heads! Idiots!
Or next day, maybe.
Oh, how am I to get in?
Are you to get in at all? That's the first question, you know.
Well, it's really dreadful the way all you creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
I shall sit here on and off for days and days.
Oh, but what am I to do?
Anything you like.
Good God. Where's the servant whose business it is to answer the door?
Which door?
This door, of course.
To answer the door. What has it been asking for?
I don't know what you mean.
I speaks English, doesn't I? Or are you deaf? What did it ask you?
Nothing. I've been knocking at it.
Shouldn't do that, shouldn't do that. Vexes it, you know. You let it alone, and it'll let you alone, you know.
There's no use in talking to you. I'm going in.
Oh. If everybody minded her own business.
It's Pepper.
Of course, I cut it into all the chems. Don't you say a word about this to anyone.
There's certainly too much pepper in the chems.
Well, sneeze and then get rid of it. Like so. Speak roughly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it. Jesus! Speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes. And, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when it pleases. If everybody minded her own business, the world would go around a deal faster than it does right now.
Oh, which would not be an advantage. Just think what work it would make with the night and day. You see, the Earth takes 24 hours to turn around on its axis.
Talking of axis, jump over her head!
What's that?
Why, it's Mr. Fuzzy. That's why.
Why does it grin? Why does it grin like that?
Again, it's Mr. Fuzzy, and they grin. Cats grin.
I didn't know Mr. Fuzzy always grinned. In fact, I didn't know cats could grin.
They all can, and most of them do.
Well, I don't know of any that do.
You don't know much, and that's a fact. Here, you may nurse the gimp a bit if you like. I must get ready to go play croquet with the queen. Out of the way, peasant!
If I don't take this odd one away with me, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Mr. Fuzzy, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to walk from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
Well, I don't much care where. I'm looking for raiders.
Then it doesn't matter which way you walk.
So long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're sure to do that if you only walk long enough.
Well, please, will you tell me what sort of people live about here?
All mad people.
Well, but I don't want to go among mad people. I'm looking for...
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad. He's mad. You're mad, too.
Well, how do you know I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
Well, how do you know you're mad? Oh.
To begin with, a dog's not mad. You grant that?
Well, I suppose so.
Well, then, you see a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now, I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Do you play croquet with the queen today?
Well, I should like it very much, but I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there.
Oh. Ugh.
Thought it would. Hang on. Did you say pig or fig?
I said pig, and I wish you wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly. It makes one...
Right.
Thank you. Oh, what? Bottle and Cappy!
If you think we're waxworks, you ought to pay!
Contrariwise, if you think we're alive, you ought to speak.
The first thing in a visit is to say, how do you do, and shake hands.
Well, would you tell me where I can find the raiders who...
What shall I repeat to her?
The walrus and the carpenter is the longest.
The sun was shining.
If it's very long, would you please tell me first which way?
The moon was shining sulkily.
The sea was wet as could be.
Oh, oysters, come and walk with us, the walrus did beseech.
A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach.
The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head,
meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed.
But 4 young oysters hurried up, and yet another 4.
And thick and fast they came at last, and more, and more, and more.
The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so,
and then they rested on a rock conveniently low.
And all the little oysters said, they said, what loaf of bread that be? And all the little oysters stood and waited in a row.
A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we chiefly need.
Now, if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed.
But not on us, the oysters cried, turning a little blue.
The night is fine, the walrus said. Do you admire the view?
The carpenter said nothing, but cut us another slice. I wish we were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice.
It seems a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick, after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick.
Oh, oysters, said the carpenter, you've had a pleasant run.
Shall we be trotting home again?
But answer came there none.
And this was scarcely odd, because
they'd eaten every...
You really think you'd fall for that? Wait, are you all raiders? Is everyone here the raiders I've been searching for?
The Nuka World Raiders, to be precise, and this is the Nuka World Raiders kill operation you've stumbled on. You have sure gone down the rabbit hole, and we're all mad!
Oh.
Care for a battle?
I suppose so. Let's fight till dinner.
Ha ha!
Oh, I'm out of ammo!
You'll never get me.
Wow. So, finally, it's confirmed. The Nuka World Raiders stormed my vault, likely to get pepper so the Duchess can cut it into her chems. That's why they're all sneezing. I should meet the Queen and King of Hearts at the croquet match, the leaders of the Raiders. I wonder what's going to happen next.
Who is this? Idiot. What's your name, child?
My name is Alice, so please, Your Majesty.
Off with her head. Off.
Nonsense.
Consider my queen. She is only a child.
Can you play croquet?
Yes.
Come on then, get to your places. Where are all the mallets?
Here.
Off with his head.
Oh! What fun.
What's the fun?
Why, it's all her fancy that. They never execute anyone.
What does one do?
Get to your places.
Where are the chess queens?
Under sentence of execution.
Wow, what for?
Did you say what the
No, I didn't. I don't think it's at all a pity. I said, what for?
They got the queen's ears.
Yes.
Hush. The queen will hear you. You see, they came rather late, and the queen said, "Oh dear, the queen hears me."
Always vanishes. How can you go on thinking so quietly, acting like a croquet arch?
What does it matter where my body happens to be? My mind goes on working just the same.
I feel faint. Give me a Mentats. Another Mentats. Hey then. There's nothing like eating Mentats when you're faint.
Well, I should think throwing cold water over you would be better.
I didn't say there was nothing better. I said there was nothing like it.
You can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing.
Oh?
You're thinking about something, my dear, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't tell you just now what the moral of that is, but I shall...
That it's done by everybody minding their own business.
It means much the same thing. And the moral of that is, take care of the scents, and the sounds will take care of themselves. Yes.
How fond you are of finding morals in things.
Thinking again.
I have a right to think.
Just as about as much a right as pigs have to fly, and the moral... Your Majesty!
Now I'll give you fair warning. As leader of the Nuka World Raiders, either you or your head must be off before they spill the beans. Your choice.
Out of here!
Off with their heads. Off with their heads.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh!
How are you getting on?
Well, I don't think they play it all fairly. And they all quarrel so. And they don't seem to have any rules in particular. I have learned that they are the raiders, the Nuka-Cola raiders who stormed my vault. And they